Namaste, namaste, family of light, and happy 4th of July. We want to take the energy and the main purpose of the concept of the 4th of July was about freedom. That's what it was about. And if you do the history of that, the group of people that were seeking freedom, primarily from Europe, felt they were under tyranny with the kings and so forth, the opportunity to be free to, express the divine as they saw fit. And there was a lot of reasons why at that time they said, we better separate religion and politics because the intermingling of the both together was not a good experiment for many groups of people. So, but then of course, too, there's many other layers to that because there were people already here, so they just say, hi, we'd like you, may we come and coexist with you on the planet? And I'm sure there was a little bit in the country. I'm sure there might have been a little discussion with that and always exchanges. But of course, you always have the fringe group that wants to cause disturbance and chaos and war and so forth. So it's not unique to any particular place. It's a global dynamic. Everywhere it's the same thing, which is why we've come together to start to make some adjustments and changes to that, right? Because the reality is we're all one, we're all connected. Okay, so and what I like about the ancestry now, you could go back and see just how connected we are. Okay, so really we all come from the same divine source as well, outside of even just talking about worldly or biological DNA, but most certainly it's been diverse from the beginnings of the Adamic race. So I do have something that I do want to talk about because I had an experience, which I know many people must be having this as well. Things are very intense right now. And unless you're in alignment with the higher parts of yourself, okay, cultivating that, higher heart of compassion and unconditional love, and all that, what that includes are things like having patience, being kind, having some tolerance, use the breath, that when you don't have the tolerance, you know how to keep yourself centered. Spiritual tools that you begin to hone as you begin to cultivate the higher heart of compassion and unconditional love, right? So easier said than done. Let's all say that. Now, I just wanted to share a story and the point of what I put as the title is what to do or how to respond to people who are on the edge. And rest assured, there are a lot of people on the edge. And also a quote from various scriptures from all around that says, hey, it has to do with karma. It's like justice is mine, saith the Lord. You don't have to be concerned about it because guess what? What you sow is what you reap. But if you really do believe that, you don't have to be that concerned unless you feel that you are called to do a particular service. That's an exception. But pretty much you don't have to engage in every slight or issue or dynamic if you're coming from the neutral observer. And you may not run into that encounter where you're being drawn into some kind of drama, but in the event that you are, you have the spiritual tools or the frequency as to how to handle that and move forward with grace and ease. So this past Sunday, okay, we had an amazing Sunday service. It was very, very powerful. And tremendous amount of healing. And so it was just, believe me, an amazing experience for everybody who was here. And so afterwards, I had a lot to do because I had guests that were coming in. And yes, we are multidimensional beings. We could be in tune to the higher celestial realms of light and be in the 3D world at the same time and all that range in between. So I had a number of things that I had to do. And one of them was to pick up some food because I had guests and I wasn't going to cook and I was just going to bring it over. So the place where I went to pick up the food and I put in the order, did some things I had to do to come up to pick it up. I was just have to pick it up because it was already paid for. So where I parked was right next to the restaurant and it was one car behind me. It's not the parking spaces. It was just a dash in and dash out. And I was straightening up the car. So from New York, and I do know how to parallel park. I didn't know how to get it perfect, right? So I wasn't that aligned. So I cut in a little bit to kind of get more aligned. And the car that was behind me, there were no other cars behind them because it's not really a parking space. So I just kind of backed up a little bit. I know how much to back up, not to hit the car, enough space. Okay, but came up a little close just to get it in line. The person had to leave. All they had to do, if they felt it was too close, just back up and go around. I didn't think anything of it. I went into the store. I came back. And when I was getting in, this woman, it was the person who was behind me. And I think she had a daughter with her. Look, it could have been, I'm assuming that there was a young person in there, but she screamed at me saying, if you dare back up so close to my car, you be, okay, I will effing you and effing that. First, I was stunned. Now, I will say this, that Brooklyn part of me could rise up real quick. I'm not denying, I'm in a human body, okay? But I took a deep breath in that moment after I got over the shock, because I was actually shocked. And I said, wait a second now, I could change it, that alchemy in that moment, not to move towards and get involved in a dialogue to cause drama, probably creating more karma for me. Okay, not smoothing down the situation, but I'm going to add fuel to the fire because clearly, if this was something that could enrage this woman, for her to come out with such a vile attack, like what's going on in her life? This woman must be on the edge, because this is the simplest of things, that for somebody to be so enraged, you have to stop and say, well, clearly it couldn't just be the parking space of me parking in front of her. There's other things going on in this woman's life that has nothing to do with me. So why, first of all, brain, would I engage? I'm not going to take it personally, because clearly it's something that's more than just a little parking space, which is her issues that I have nothing to do with. The best thing I could come on, I'd like to say right away, I said, God bless you, can I help? But what I did right away, I didn't say anything immediately. And I said, and God bless you. And then she reached, I said, God bless you. It might have, okay, it might have enraged her more, but I did mean it. Because in that moment, I was just saying, and for the daughter or whoever the young person was. So, and this is the other thing too. And this is important because what's going on in the world. I don't have to tell you. All right. So if you're in a situation, all the road rage and all the things that's going on there, your natural animalistic lower emotional body is to react. And that little part came up, but I took a deep breath and I did an alchemy within myself. My higher self says, neutral observer. Now, come on, Sharon Elizabeth, you know better. This is something they're doing, so this is years of practice. So that I changed it in the moment, because that's the natural response. And it has to do with our biology, has to do with that flight, fight or flight response. So then you have to have enough knowledge to say, well, how do I control the physical body and the physiology that I'm not going to push that forward? Well, we have spiritual tools. So in that moment, I took a very deep breath and I shifted it. And this higher part of myself said, you know, this has nothing to do with you. In fact, you should feel really compassion for this woman. That something as slight as that has caused her great rage. So there's stuff going on in her life, you know, and clearly she's in pain. She's not happy. She's suffering. She's stressed, whatever the list of things are going on. So what do I need to do to add to that? I don't need to do that as a light worker. The best thing I do is say nothing, or better yet, bless her. Okay, and not take that on. Plus myself, why would I take that on? Why would I be thinking about it all the time? Why would I say, gee, you know what I should have done to said da da da. I should have. No, that's on this vibration. We don't operate on that vibration. We operate on this vibration. As a light worker, we would say clearly, this person is in pain, has issues, is enraged, and if anything, it should trigger the compassionate heart. Now, people may say, well, that's not fair, and da, 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 da. In this particular case, look, I know, and I've learned this. I don't have to prove anything to you. I don't have to prove anything, right? Because guess what? Karma is real. It exists. And if you don't know if it's real or not, hopefully you'll start to get the message when you get the universal boot kick. Say, well, what is it? Why is this going on? And it may have the opportunity to reflect on your life, to say, what can I do to improve this? Because I don't want to create more negative karma. I want to create good karma. And with this woman, I don't have to be concerned. In fact, when you attack, say, somebody who has done nothing, okay, that's a big cosmic no-no. You know, when I see that happen, I feel like giving a sympathy card to that person because, it is a balances. It balances. And that's why you may say, oh, it's not fair. That person got away with this and got away with that and that. The universe is always going to balance. And that's why it says in scripture, in many different scriptures, justice is mine, saith the Lord. You don't have to worry about it because it is whatever you put out, it's going to come back to you. So why would you get dragged into somebody else's drama, issues, dynamics? If you know better, why would you do that and create the same thing? Why would you? Just for yourself. Much less what you do is to bring peace in whatever situation that you're in. So I just wanted to talk about this a little bit because there are so many people that are on the edge. And as I always have been saying, if there's any time to walk the path of righteousness, believe me, in this decade here now, moving forward, this is the time to do it. This is an initiatory process for humanity. I call it the days of Noah, to circle back again. There's many predictions around this time, so all I'm going to say is open up the heart of compassion. If you do that, you get the higher wisdom, the higher understanding, and that's going to allow you to move forward in the days and the weeks and the years to come. Okay, so with that, I will say to our Facebook family of light, whenever you do see this, most of you will see this recording later on. But whatever time you see it is at the divinely appointed time. Know that you are invited to join the Anchoring Light Transmission Meditation. We do this every single Monday without fail for 15 years. It's hard to believe it's 15 years, but yes, it is. So there's a reason why we show up. And as the Ascended Masters always say, thank you for showing up. Okay, so with that, I'm going to say namaste to our Facebook family of light. See you next time.